Hello, my lovely. We know as women with ADHD that we did not get to where we are right now by doing things the way everyone else did, right? We know we have often felt like the weirdo in the room. I know I did for a really long time. We're natural born storytellers and disruptors, and we love to shake shit up. We don't like doing what we're told, but also please low key tell us what to do, and our brains are wired to see the world in a different way. And I know that my diagnosis, which happened while running this business, changed my whole life. I don't say that anecdotally. It literally changed everything. It also changed my business for the better because I got curious and started working the way my brain worked. And that's what I teach my clients, the spicy minded way. I have seen how it's changed their world, and I know it'll do the same for you. So basically, I'm here to brainwash you into believing in yourself. In today's episode, we'll discuss some fun branding shit because I love branding and I want to help you simplify it if you are still doing it for yourself or if you are going to be handing it off to a team at some point. This will come in handy. Are you a beacon for your fuck yes clients to come into your world? And we're going to talk about the man in the arena. What? If you know, you know. If you don't, keep listening. Either way, keep listening. And from one ADHD human to another, turn the volume up to an 11 and get ready to see yourself in my stories. Plus, you're going to learn a thing or two. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur, the podcast for us adult diagnosed ADHD women who have the audacity to lead and run businesses like the feral bitches we are with an offer suite and revenue to match. My name is Carrie. I'm your host, and I am the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found the podcast. If this episode has an impact on you, do me a favor, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you can come back every Wednesday and leave a 5-star review. That helps other women like us find the podcast. And since I understand your ADHD, both professionally and personally, each episode has a few topics. It's all wrapped together in a lovely bow in a way that speaks to that feral funhouse of a brain that we have. Trains of thought. So let's get into today's topics. The first thing we are going to discuss is, are you a beacon? Are you a beacon for your fuck yes clients? So this is a time to reflect on how you are showing up. Are you showing up in a way that resonates with your ideal clients? So let me talk about this just a little bit. We don't want to mask. We want to be who we are. And one of the things about that is figuring out, based on who we are, who our ideal client is. Because if we put on masks and try to show up in a way that doesn't feel natural or the word authentic to ourselves, it isn't going to resonate with the people that we know we're here to work with. And it will attract your fuck no clients because those are people who are attracted to that mask, right? So let me talk a little bit about my ideal client. And you'll tell me if this sounds like who I should be working with, just based on what you may know so far. And if you're new here, just you can guess by my personality through this podcast. So my clients are high achievers. They're all in on their business. They're coachable. They're open-minded. They invest in their growth. They know that money is a renewable resource, but time isn't. They're self-aware. They're big visionaries, but want some simplicity. And they have a sense of fucking humor. They don't want anything cookie cutter. They don't want fluff and bullshit. They want things that are going to solve their problem, their strategies that are tailored to the way their brain is made. And they love my straightforwardness, my boldness. They love a coach who gets elbows deep in their business with them to create strategy that works for them. That is exactly who I want to work with. And that's who my personality naturally draws in. So I want you to think about what your personality naturally draws to you, the people around you, the people in your life, and think about those things. So, how do I lead, right? I lead and help women see if I am a fit for them by being all of me. not parts or bits or pieces. I did that for a really long time. The unmasking process is no joke. And I still find that there are times when I will start to go into kind of that masking behavior, but I catch it and I stop it, right? And so leading by example simply means live your life and embody, really think about the energy you want to draw toward you. When you start thinking about the kind of energy of those people that you want to draw to you, and you really get to know your fuck yes people, you're going to be able to speak directly to them. Part of it may be from personal experience. Part of it may be from working with different clients and really understanding who you help the best. These things take time to figure out. We don't nail it on the first time out, but you're going to start to notice the type of people that are attracted to you. Now, a little bit of frying pan of love here. Please still love me. If you're not attracting those clients, I want you to turn and look in the mirror. Not aesthetically, not how you look, your weight, your hair, none of those things. But what is your energy? What is your energy like? What are you putting out in the world? When you walk into a room, how does the room shift? Does it become more positive? Does it become more negative? Because here's one thing that I do know about people with ADHD. We tend to fall into two camps. One is the woe is me, ADHD sucks, it's really fucking hard. I I can't manage it. I can't figure this out. The medical system fucked it. Da, da, da. Okay? Now, we do have some of those underlying feelings, especially when we first get diagnosed. Totally natural. But there comes a time where you have to start to take some fucking radical responsibility for how you show up, for who you are, and how you want to move through this world. It's not about changing yourself, it's about lining yourself up with your values and who you are as a person. And when you do that, and you come from that deep place of knowing those values and that deep integrity and that radical responsibility, you're going to see an energy shift so fucking quick in your business. It's ridiculous because who you are and how you show up draws in like energy. If you start your sentences with, well, if you want to work with me, no, bitch. You need a coach who blah, blah, blah. What is it you do goes in the blah, blah, blah. Write in a way, speak to them in a way where they set their feet in the shoes of the person you are speaking to, not generalized. Get specific. And if you don't know how to get specific, talk to me. We can figure out that specificity because you may not be able to see her, but I may be able to help you. But back to the original point, the energy you put out is what you get back. If you put out shit energy, guess what you're going to get back? Shit energy. If you look at the world like everything's against you, you're going to see proof of all the ways the world is against you. So, what lens are you going to choose to look through? Shit show or upsides of life? Because frankly, when it comes to ADHD, I look at the upsides. I look through a strength focused lens, not woe is me. I never have. Even in my hardest, most fucked up times in my life, I have always still believed and bet on myself. I never gave up on me. And getting my diagnosis turned the volume up to a fucking 11. Because the one thing that came with my diagnosis was finally understanding what was these pieces that were missing that were in this black box I felt like I could never get into. Now I have those. Knowledge is power. Now I have the power. Radical responsibility and take a look at yourself. Another thing in this arena before I switch topics is what are you not saying that will draw people into you like a fucking beacon? My business mentor explains this well. lighthouse is a perfect example. There's all of these ships out there and they need a lighthouse. Their lighthouse, the lighthouse that speaks directly to them, the brightness that they can see. Are you shining that light so they can fucking find you in the fog? Right? Are you finding them? Not only are you finding them, are you speaking to them? Are you interacting with them? What parts of you are you cutting off? For me, for as long as I can think back, it has been to keep myself filtered and not talk too much, and a few other things that I'm sure that, many people like us experience. But I was so filtered because I am wild and fucking unfiltered, y'all. Okay, like I just when I say feral fun house of a brain, I am not joking. It's like 87 ring circus and this and that, but it's what makes me such a great business owner and entrepreneur. I can see patterns other people may not be able to see in their own business. I can see where they are losing energy, leaking your time. I can see those things. But if I keep myself, my wild and unfiltered self, that all my clients see anyway, and love, by the way, because they're drawn to me as a lighthouse. I literally had somebody come in my DMs. I can't even believe this, but I'm going to share it because it's fucking funny. But it also shows you that there is impact you're making, even when you're showing up in your, I don't like the term highest self because it assumes that you are not whole as you are. But if you are showing up as all of who you are, all of it, even the fucking weird, wacky doodle stuff. You're going to find people who are like, I like her weird and wackadoo. I want a piece of that. And then you're also able to show them what you can do, what you do well, and talk about that unfiltered. So I kept myself filtered for so long, they couldn't see that light. When I took that off, it has been different. Let me just say, like I said, if you want to shift some energy, fucking take a look at yourself, right? As soon as as I continued to take off masks and let more of those pieces that my clients saw, because that's who they're getting on the other side, right? In the first place, they're getting me. So you need to understand what I'm about and who I am and how I speak and how I cheerlead and I'm not even cheerlead, but how I just freaking raise women up because they may not be able to do that for themselves yet and do that until they find their own footing. And they do. And I just want to put a little bit of emphasis on how this is a word that is used a lot, but it is the best descriptor is how authentically our authenticity and vulnerability can magnetize the people, your people to your business. Now, we don't want to be vulnerable ourselves, but we want others to. That's not fair. We want to just mask up and not, show up as we are in all of our glory, whether that's every day is in yoga pants and your hair is all fucked up and in a bun, and or someone who's more elevated and has professional photos, or somebody who's kind of on the in between. That vibe brings them in to you to see if you are their person. And I want you to know vulnerability is different for everyone. You have to decide what's off limits in your online world. It can be your kids' faces or things that are deeply personal, unless that's you and you share that shit and that's how you roll. Keep doing that. Don't stop that or turn it off. Now, take the fucking lid off of the shit that you aren't saying. I double dog dare you to go on your stories today and say something you have never said before, something you just kind of kept to yourself that you didn't think anyone would give two shits about. And watch what happens. It's pretty funny. That what you're creating is elevated relatability. You're relatable because you maybe have similar tastes or similar likes or similar taste in music, or you love true crime podcasts, or, you may have those types of things in common, but you also are an authority and you also are all in on your industry and what you do and in your work. And before I jump over to the next topic, which is branding, I do want to say this one thing. You create your brand. You, who you are. Don't build a brand and then become it. Be you and build the brand based on you. I did this recently. I did some rebranding, and inside of the Neurospicy Sisterhood, I showed how I did this process. But I really went, what are the things that represent me? Mirror balls. I've seen them everywhere since I can remember, at least the last 10, 20 years. They're all over the place. I don't know if it's just because I go to concerts a lot or, you know, but where I happen to be, I see fucking mirror balls on TV in real life. It's like certain people see like a heart in things. I fucking see a mirror ball, right? My dog is my dude, Oliver. He's on there. He's in my branding. Go take a look. You'll see his cute little face on any of my carousels that are black. Then I have a picture of myself in one of them. Then I have a picture of records in one of them because music is part of my soul. I'm the branding. I didn't create a brand and then try to become it. I am me and created that around it. And I didn't put that together fully until I did. And then once I did, it was over, y'all. Like a couple of things, you may not have noticed, but I'll kind of tell you because we always have these little things that go into our brand is I love having pretty, beautiful graphics that are so awesome. And then just off the hook wording, feral, wild, sweary, all of those things because it's a contrast. It's contrarian, right? Those graphics are so pretty and they attract my ideal client because they love the kind of like, ooh, this aesthetic's nice. Then they start kind of noticing, oh, it's my dog. And so parts of me are right there. And then they start reading the wording and they're like, this shit doesn't go together, but I like it. Here's what I get told. When I see a piece of your content, I know it's you. Boom. My work is done here, y'all. So let me flip to branding. Let's take a little turn here. This is the next topic. We'll talk about this branding. So your brand is an evolution. So let me talk about this podcast first. This podcast was originally Women Out Loud. Then it became the anxious entrepreneur because I thought I had anxiety and that was who I was focusing on. And now it's ADHD entrepreneur. So this reflects one, natural growth. I've left it there. Now, one of the things I can tell you is there have been times where I've thought to myself, maybe I should take down the first 58 episodes, just archive them, and just have the ADHD content on there. And then I thought, no, the whole process is there. My very first episode I've ever had is there for others who are on this same road. And the entire evolution of where I started to getting my diagnosis to where I am now is all there. And I realized I need to leave that up because we have to embrace our own evolution. You get to embrace your own evolution and know when it's time to take the jump to that next level. And if you look throughout my entire podcast history, you're going to see that all in real time. Why the fuck would I take that down? I go, then you go, right? So this is something this podcast even evolved. It was called Women Out Loud. It had this big, hot pink and blue and purple mouth just open wide. And it just said Women Out Loud. It was very difficult for people to know what that was because I'm not some famous person where I just threw out a podcast and everyone and their brother listened to it, right? Because that does happen. But I also needed it to be more clear. But I wasn't clear yet in the beginning. And then when I turned it into anxiety, I thought I was clear, but still didn't have all the information. And now I do, right? Your brand is reflective of all parts of you. Like I said, mine has some bougie elegance to it and raw authenticness. I am raw, I am real, I am unfiltered, and I am also a little bougie, and I am fine with that. At concerts, I don't fucking get general admission anymore. I sit down like a gosh dang grown up, right? But that's me, right? But I'm also attracting women who have big personalities, who are all in, who fucking love doing business. They are going for it. Hello, I need all of those elements in there of who I am to show them a little bit of who I am. And I'll tell you, my branding started beautiful colors, shitty ass graphics. Oh my gosh. If you want to see some of them, let me know. I will show you what my branding started out like and where it is now. And I do it all myself, but I'm going to go into what I do with that branding to make it easier for me when the time is right to that shit off. Because there may come a time that happens with certain parts of my social media. I don't know. I'm not sure where that growth is going to take me, but I'm here to take you along for the ride. So, where the ride is right now, and just to give you a little backstory, when I was still in the Women Out Loud and the anxious entrepreneur age, I handed off everything in my business because I thought I was completely inept and I just gave it all away. I had no idea how my business was run. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that gives me hives. Now, then I got my diagnosis and I realized why I handed it all away was I had no faith in myself. I just had so little self-esteem that I thought that this shit was shit. I couldn't learn. I'm just going to hand it over to people. And that cost me $40K in a year. I was in the red. It was a very expensive, quote unquote, mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. I needed to do that so that I could take it all back, take my power back, learn how my business ran in its entirety that people had set up for me and helped me with so that I could then run it myself, get it rolling the way I love it to roll. And I am there and then start handing things over, right? So now I have an operations manager who helps me on the back end and I have that assistance. It was easy then to hand things off to her because I could show her how to do certain things that I have been doing, right? It is a road. It is okay to start imperfectly. It is okay to start with ugly graphics. It is okay to start with less than perfect hair. It's okay. But fucking start, right? You did that. You started. Now you get to start evolving what it looks like and base it on what you love and what's going to draw in those people who will love it too. And here's how I do it. I create a capsule brand wardrobe. Now, this is something you could have kind of created for you with elements, and then you can upload them into Canva if you want to have something kind of more done for you. Or you can do this yourself. And then when the time comes for you to hand it off, everything is there. So what a capsule brand wardrobe is you go in, I go into Canva and I select a few different pieces that I loved and I edited them and I made them mine and I put in the images that were for my brand and that are me. And they all live in that folder. And I no longer go into Canva for 6 hours trying to figure out what to make. I go to that folder, which has the picture elements, it has the reel cover, it has the carousel, it has all the things I need. And I don't get sucked into the hole of Canva because y'all know I literally could live in there for like 6 or 7 hours a day. However, if somebody said, "Hey, I want to pay you to do this," I'd be like, "Nope," because it's fun for me. I don't want it to be extra work, right? Now, that getting in, getting out, and getting out of that rabbit hole gives me the time to focus on what matters the most to me, right? And when the time comes, if the time comes, because I love making content. So it's kind of probably going to be one of those last like cold dead hands kind of things. But this helps me not waste time. My idea comes for a carousel or a reel. I automatically have everything I need to make it more easy for myself. I took the time to create that brand and to pick the colors and fonts and things like this. And I have this entire training inside of the Neurospicy Sisterhood. It's one of the trainings I do in there. And I showed my most recent capsule wardrobe and what that looks like and where I put it and how I create it and how I find the colors and how I go through all of that. And if you take the time to do that one time, it pays off back it pays you back so much because you get more time back. It's a capsule wardrobe, just like for clothing, right? You have a certain wardrobe, you go in there, you know what your pieces are, you pick those pieces, you put them on, ta-da, right? It's the same thing here. But what this does for our ADHD brains is it keeps us from going down the rabbit hole of Canva. We're fucking creative, but we don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? When we have something that we've created or someone has created for us, it makes life so much easier to just know where we can go to get that thing. It feels good. It looks good. It's awesome. So consider doing something like this for yourself. It is a huge time saver and it really helps you find the way to show all of the parts and pieces that you are. And if you have any questions about how to create one of these fantastic Canva capsule wardrobes, let me know. I can lead you to a couple places to help you find different colors and those kind of things because I'm just a nerd for this shit and I love marketing and branding. So if you have any questions, let me know. And of course, in the Neurospicy Sisterhood, this is where I teach so many of these things. That's, my monthly membership where I teach one training per month plus have, Q&A twice a month. And it will help you with these types of things to just tighten them up and not keep wasting your time on things that they matter, but they matter a lot less than the things you should be focusing on to really move the needle forward in your business and bring in that revenue. So ask me any questions you have about the capsule wardrobe. I'd be happy to tell you. And with that, I'm going to end today's episode. If you love the episode, subscribe, give it a review, tell a friend, send a carrier pigeon, drop into my DMs. Tell me, what did you get out of this episode? Connection is huge for me. It's queen. Community matters to me. And I love to hear from you if you are listening. And I'm not saying that to be lip service. I'm literally my lips to your ears. I would love to hear from you. We are all real people. And I love talking with other humans about this shit. It is my hyper focus. It is my passion, but it is also my purpose. And I have been doing business for over 25 years in some way, shape, or form. And I love sharing what I know. No gatekeeping, none of that crap. So ask, say hi, make yourself known, raise your hand. And until next week, I see you. I love you. And I am fucking rooting for you always. And don't forget to make it weird. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance. And there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.